Okay, this is part B. Episode B? Part B? That's weird. Part 2. Continuing. We just got over paragraph 3. There's only like 40 more to go, guys. We got this. Um, so this talks about how if you don't learn to be thoughtful, how you'll end up missing opportunities to demonstrate love. I don't know. Once again, I'm speaking a lot for me, but I'm gonna assume, and we know what assuming does, but I'm still gonna do it. I'm gonna assume I'm not the only one who's done this kind of stuff, right? That there's something has happened before, and um, after it was done, I says, I wish I would have slowed down, or man, I wish I would have done this, or I wish I would have said this, or I wish I would have reacted in such and such a way. I can't be the only person that's ever happened to. But learning to be thoughtful, learning to be, there are these two words, right? One is reactive and the other one is preemptive. Learning to preempt instead of being reactive, although reactive can be good sometimes, I suppose. I think that's the goal here. You know, this book makes a claim. Ladies, you can let me know if it's true if you want. Leave a comment below. This book makes the claim. Here, I'll read it. Let's be honest. Men struggle with thoughtlessness more than women. Do you think that's true? I don't know. I know some pretty thoughtful dudes, right? You know what I'm saying? But I know some pretty thoughtful women. So, yeah, and then it says, you know, and then it goes through that for a little bit. As a man, I'm gonna leave that alone. We're just gonna skip that. No, I'm not. I'm not. All right, guys. If you struggle with being thoughtless, that's a selfishness thing, right? We have to, as men, we have to learn to be less selfless and more thoughtful of others. We're real big fans, the Sanchez family, we're real big fans of the chivalric code. Not that it's a set in stone thing, just the idea of being chivalrous, of chivalry. Um, and I don't know if you guys have ever read Captivating or Wild at Heart or the John Eldridge stuff that pertains to being a man. But so this is a moment for men, okay? Because I'm not a woman, so I can't tell you about that. Ladies, I'm sorry. If any ladies are watching this, um, you know, he talks about there are these three things that women want. And it's like they want to be loved, they want to be seen as beautiful, they want to know they're needed. I know I'm going more than three. And but they want to be caught up in an adventure. In order for us to protect the ones we love, we have to be thinking of them. How can we love them? How can how can we elevate them, right? I want this person that I love. I want my girls to be better off than I was. I want my wife to feel better about life than I did when I was young. I want my wife to have the best. I want my children to have the best. Now it might be difficult if you guys are in a rough relationship, but I would assume after some time of doing this that something similar to the movie would happen. I would hope, that with prayer and moving forward. I'm just saying, dudes, let's treat it like you're a knight, okay? And you're protecting the queen, or if you want to call her a princess, you're protecting a princess. And you would be very thoughtful of the queen or the princess. You know what I'm saying? So let's do it that way, maybe. Um, and this goes on to say, here, let's make an example, okay? Men tend to think in headlines and say exactly what they mean. Not much is needed to understand the message. His words are more literal. They shouldn't be overanalyzed. And then it goes into women who are, they're like deeper, maybe. It says, women often tend to speak and hint towards things. So I think children do this too. I think kids talk in a code, like because they're worried about maybe, if I say this thing, I'll get in trouble. So they're always feeling stuff out. So it's important also for us to be considerate of what people are actually saying, not necessarily the words, but what are they actually saying? Is this a moment where my wife or my child is saying something or trying to get some point across, and it's not actually the words, but it's more like the heart or the actions issue? Is there a wanting or a longing that I'm not picking up? So there's that. Sorry, I giggle sometimes. It talks about, husbands and wives. This is a little bit difficult for me to apply to the family, but I'm trying, okay? This one goes on to husbands and wives. You guys should really, we should really try to understand one another, but also be gracious with one another when we don't understand what we're saying. Like, a woman shouldn't get mad at her man when she says something and it's all cryptic, and he doesn't write, he doesn't apply the crypto analysis correctly, you know what I'm saying, and he messes it up somewhere in there because the stenography is wrong. Yeah, you like that? Um, what I'm trying to say is, like, be gracious. If you're saying, "Oh, I would like this," and then this, but you mean something else, be gracious, because sometimes we pick stuff up at a different rate, and I don't know. I think the point of this chapter was like, men, maybe let's have a little bit more mystique to us and profoundness. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe let's maybe let's code our messages some, and then be gracious when no one understands us still. Yeah. And let's do the same thing with our children. This is the way I took this chapter with my girls. They've had a life before where I was angry, where I would blow up, and also they've lived in cultures where women aren't really allowed to speak. They have to act one way. Then they've lived in other cultures that were radically different. So for them, it's I have to interpret a lot of the actions that they're doing, and a lot of the to look for the motives, and that I'm not giving them, that I'm not projecting, and I'm not assigning them my motives. Well, if I did that, I would have did that because of this, because they're not me. They don't struggle with my struggles, and they're women, and they're which means that if this book is right, they speak in code. All right. Let me go back here. So I think that's about it. Once again, I'm sorry. Apparently, I can't do a video less than 20 minutes long. My bad. I don't have COVID, so I touched my face, and I'm alone. Look at this. Social distancing to the maximus. I can even show you the other side. It's like hardcore social distancing out here. Alrighty. So the challenge on here is to find a way that we're not doing this ready, shoot, aim, but instead we're taking the time to hear and making an effort in our thoughts to understand one another, to say, what is this person really saying? What do they really mean? Were they, did they say what I heard? And a good tool for that is asking questions. Hey, um, what? What did you say? When you said such, did you mean this? Or even, and guys, this might be hard for us, but I'm starting to dig this. I don't understand. What? Can you say that? Could you explain that? That's a good one. So the challenge for today is to it says contact your spouse during some time during the business day. So if you're doing this like me with your family, then with your wife, get a hold of your kids sometime. And like I said, we're doing an every other thing, but this one's taking a few days. With the agenda, with having no other agenda than asking how he or she is doing and if there's anything you could do for them. Bam. That's it. I did this with 3 of the girls so far. I've got 1 more to do. And we had some really good talks, and it was amazing. Um and I think I remember when Talai did it with me. She sat me down. She's like, "Hey Dad, we were going berry picking because we live very off-gridish for the time being, and we wanted some syrup, and I was going out to get the berries, right? So we could get the berries, we could mash the berries, make some berry pancakey stuff." She came out with me, and it was the awesomest thing. So I was like, "Hey Dad, how you doing?" "I'm doing well. I've been thinking, is there anything I could do for you, or is there anything, how are you these days, Dad?" And she's cryptically trying to do this challenge, right? And I'm like, "Oh, that's sweet." So we had a great conversation. If nothing else, it was a great conversation. And I hope it meant as much to her as it did to me, because I want to remember that conversation for years and years and years, right? So, yeah, day 4 challenge. Thanks for listening, guys. Stay safe. Be good. A lot of the country is starting to reopen. That's awesome. Uh, just remember, be wise about it. Okay, wait. Actually, bam, gonna do something. Some people might not dig this. I don't like to wear the masks, right? But day 4 is about being thoughtful. So, if I'm really being thoughtful of other people, I would put a mask on. Uh, I know you guys don't. Some people don't want to hear that. And it's not because I'm afraid. It's not because I think I'm gonna get it. It's not because I have it and I think someone else might get it. It's because I don't want that old person who walks in the aisle next to me thinking that I think their life is less valuable, because I don't know what they think. And that's just one way that I could show them I care about you. I don't want you to die. I don't want you getting sick. I don't want to harm you. And 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 I think enough about you to cover my face. It doesn't hurt me at all. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I do it out of the store or in my car. I'm not running around the woods with a mask on, although that might be creepy, right? But there's some food for thought. If we're being thoughtful, not only with our families, but those around us, that also, that's good for Jesus. Alrighty. Take care, guys. Bye bye.